Welcome. We're David and Hillary, and this is our movie preview of the movie Paddington in Peru. Paddington in Peru was released at different times in different places in our area, kind of in the Mid-South in Tennessee. It was released on February 14th, 2025. It's rated PG for action, mild, rude humor, and some thematic elements.
Elephants?
Thematic elephants. Actually, I don't think there were any elephants in the movie. The runtime is about an hour and 46 minutes, and there will be a link to the trailer in the description for this video if you would like to see that. Then this is, again, the preview. We're not going to have any spoilers. We're just going to give you some information about the movie that you can use to decide if you want to see it or not. So in Paddington in Peru, Paddington is, Hillary?
In Peru.
He's in Peru.
It's,
yeah, big surprise.
Pretty straightforward.
Well, he doesn't start there, but he somehow convinces his family that they should all go to Peru and visit his Aunt Lucy, who has recently moved into the home for retired bears.
That's right. So Paddington and his family, they end up not only in another country, on another continent, but on a jungle adventure. Yeah. Which includes boats, planes, and hiking, not to mention a mystery, and ultimately more discoveries than Paddington could have imagined. It's definitely a kid's family movie. I kind of had to talk somebody into going. But yeah, hey, if I'm going to sit through some of your movies, you're going to sit through my Paddington.
Real men don't look at explosions. Somehow this didn't come into effect in Paddington in Peru.
Some of it was cheesy, but there was not a lot of crass junior high style humor. I was expecting that, and I was pleasantly surprised that was not the case. There was a little bit of that. So
yeah, that's not our favorite thing. But anyway, if you've seen previous Paddington movies, then there are some references that you'll get that others won't. But if you are thinking about seeing this movie and you haven't seen the previous movies in this theater, it's not really a reason not to see it. It's not, anything you'll miss, it's not a huge deal. The format, too, if you haven't seen the other Paddington movies, it's a little bit like Stuart Little, which was a huge hit a few years back, with its mix of humans and animals speaking English together to each other and even being in the same family together. So it's fun.
It really is fun. And the scenery really is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually a little surprised when we got into the movie. I just wasn't really thinking it through, but I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. This is a mix. There's animation, there's live action. And it was beautiful. It was a fun movie with kid-appropriate danger and adventure, as well as some good family values. Yeah.
Yeah, the one exception to that, we're Christians, we're believers in Christ, and there were a couple references to Christianity in general and Catholicism in specific that were not positive. And partway through, you understand part of that, why that is. No spoilers here. There were also some other references that were never kind of explained away. It was not profuse, but they're in there. I'm not sure young children are even going to catch it.
Right.
We have 5 kids and 6 grandkids, so we're really familiar with family kid movies, and the fact that not everything in every movie necessarily you agree with. So for us, if we still had kids the age to watch this, we would have watched it and then talked about it afterwards and kind of said, hey, this was in here, but just because we took you to this movie doesn't mean we agree with that. But for us, that was a small part of the movie. It wasn't really a reason not to see it, but you should know.
Yeah. If you're picky about those kind of things, you want to know that they're in there before you go.
Yeah.
And your kids, your family. We always thought it was a good opportunity to just discuss it afterwards and just to bring it back up and talk about it. So
how does anyone who has any beliefs at all go through life and only encounter things that they agree with?
Right.
That's not a thing. So,
right. Yeah.
Overall,
I think that you're going to want to see it. It's a pretty good family-friendly movie. I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, for what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew what I was getting myself into.
Right. Well, me too.
I'll enjoy Mission Impossible later this year a whole lot better.
Me too.
But it was good. It was good for what it was.
It was. Yeah.
So usually we do who's going to want to see this and who's not going to want to see this. I think that's probably pretty obvious from the things that we've already said. The main people who aren't going to want to see this is if you're not into kid-friendly family movies, which why are you watching this review? I think you already knew that's what this was. And if you're just really sensitive to anything negative toward Christianity and you don't want to deal with it and you don't want to have to explain it, it's not that bad, but I would say if you're sensitive to that, maybe this movie's not for you.
Or watch it first and then decide if you think you want your family to watch it.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course. That's always a good option. Finally, we give every movie a score. We ended up at an 88 on this. And if you watch any of our other movie previews where we rate the movies, it's not necessarily that we're saying we like this movie better or really close to other movies with a similar score. It's just in the world of family-friendly movies, that's where we would put this.
Yeah.
So solid B+. If they didn't have the anti-Christian stuff, I probably would have given it an A-. But it's a decent movie. It's a good time. The scenery's gorgeous. And if that appeals to you, you might want to check it out.
Yep.
But for now,
have some fun in Peru.
Yeah. We're David and Hillary.
The movie was Paddington in Peru, and that's our preview.